Fellas. Is that my line today?
Right. You hit that.
And just like that, we back with another episode of
Who's Fighting? I'm taking it. We're switching roles today.
I don't have the bed music. I don't know where the bed music is.
I was just about to say that. I was like, something's missing besides Strap.
Yeah, I don't
Our
know.
Dear brother.
Yeah, well, in case you're joining us right now and you happen to see, it's only two of us here. This is the first time that we're doing this without Strap, who's one of the founders. Yeah, our brother caught COVID in the year 2025 of our Lord. So,
man, I was like, what? They still got that?
Hey, man, Trump back in office and some things.
Oh, man, yeah. Yeah, so they're running back for the one time.
He's a little under the weather. I mean, in Wichita, Kansas right now, it's pretty freezing. They about to cancel school up there anyway. So, but yeah, we want him to feel better soon. Hopefully he's tuning in. Maybe he'll shoot us something in the comment section.
Right. Nah, he need to tap in or be getting rest. Whichever.
What you got?
Get back.
What's been new with you? What's been new with you, Kam Gee?
Oh man, just staying busy and the gym as always, making great connections in the city of Dallas with other coaches, and got a chance to visit the Dallas Golden Gloves this past weekend. Saw some very great, let me say that, great young talent in the area. So that's always cool to see what's coming through the pipeline in your local area, and just getting active, man. It's very good to see all the coaches and mingling and mixing like that. So that was probably the highlight of my last week, is being able to visit the Dallas Golden Gloves.
Very nice. Man, you know I'm a Flintstone, so I got a rep one time for the Flintstone. Before Steph Curry, before Klay Thompson, I was rocking this in high school, believe it or not, before it was cool to wear the Warriors. But, you know, shout out to them. They just got that team, the Flintstone team, got inducted into the Hall of Fame. They recognized the anniversary of their championship. So, you know, even I'm still Big Blue, you know, but yeah, I feel like at the time, Big Blue was under, NCAA sanctions at the time.
Yes.
So I think the Flintstones, they might have did, revisionist history.
Right. Was you talking about the We Believe Warriors?
Was he part of them? I don't know if he was part of them. This would have been circa 2000. Oh, he was probably a veteran at that time.
I got my Mavs stuff on today.
And the number one seed.
They hurt my feelings that year, and then we just got our hearts ripped out again. Yeah, there was the 07 We Believe Warriors. Jason Richardson was
probably
real active. Baron Davis.
Yeah.
Man. It was that's a team right there. When I saw that jersey, I had a few nightmares come back. Man. Yeah, so even though he went Big Blue, I shot him out. Also, we're doing our second movie premiere this Friday. Let's go.
February 14th. It's called Snooze. The trailer's up for that. Just so happens to also coincide with my birthday. So
hey,
that's major right there. So
man, that's big time, bro.
Yeah. I'm gonna be celebrate Black History and call in on my birthday.
Yeah, for real. That's an excellent reason to do so, my brother.
All right. Yeah, so now that we spent 4 minutes and some people have clicked off by now, we're gonna jump into the show. We have some boxing going on right now. We're gonna start it off with the big one. Derek Chisora securing his unanimous decision victory over Wallin. Did you see this one coming?
Honestly, I did not. I actually thought that Chisora lost looking at the post-fight press conference, but then on further review, he came out and got the dub.
And so I did get to see some of this. Chisora, head down, pushing forward like a bully. You know, in the words of Strap, he's a brute. You know, a brute. Yeah. And in true brute fashion, he's got his head down, so it opens him up to get peppered by that jab. But he's forcing his way in and forcing the action, and he put Wallin on the back foot, and I want to say, was it round 9 where he scored this big knockdown, and it was like hit him on a button, and then it was kind of a delay, but once it reverberated, Wallin had to moonwalk all the way to the neutral corner, and
yeah.
But yeah, so that was
so the power is still there.
Yeah, that was a big moment in that fight. It's important to say that this was supposed to be a title eliminator, so could possibly have some implications. You know, it's hard to tell these days. What does that mean? You know,
right. Does a fight get made, and does Chisora pose any threat for any current heavyweights or heavyweight champions? Mainly Usyk. Mm-hmm. Does he give Usyk the blues with that type of style?
So, not sure. Let's do a fact check real quick. We'll see what governing body. Oh, that's also okay. Come to think about it, yeah. All right, we'll circle back to that. Okay.
Well, the sanctioning body for this fight right here.
Well, yeah, we'll circle back to that because I think I answered my question for the last segment.
Gotcha. That's a nice teaser. Hey,
exactly.
Stay with us.
All right. Also on that card, Zach Miller claimed the British and Commonwealth featherweight titles with the majority decision win over Masoud Abdullah. All right. So shout out to that. We about to recap these. A lot of these happened over the pond. Shout out to our people across the pond. They have some good boxing. We're not familiar with you, but we're gonna highlight you real quick. A lot of y'all we're not familiar with. But definitely. Hey, football is over. American football is over. We in the dead season, so we just gotta wait for the draft.
We got something to do, something to look forward to.
So when y'all had these Saturday morning fights for us, you know, you fill in the time slot. So Americans, we love us Americans love our violence.
Yeah.
All right. We had Zach Parker, who defeated Mikel Diallo via unanimous decision in a 10-round light heavyweight contest. Feel free to chime in if you're familiar with any of these guys, Kim.
On his 175. Now, this was a card I was not able to digest fully.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame, considering we had some of these fights are title eliminators and for belts.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't get our brothers over the pond.
These fights do have implications, and so we are paying some close attention. All right.
Get familiar with these names.
So all right, now I'm about to do strap. So we got Sofiane Katie with the upset over Nathan Heaney with the 7th round TKO victory. So Katie's got an 18-5 record, 6 KOs. Heaney has an 18-2-1. So it's looking like that, you know, that kind of gatekeeper pulled the upset over the prospect.
Right. You need these, and you know, it's a violent sport. Women's side does need some more KOs. They just tend the knockout potential generates the excitement for these fights. More excitement, more money, more butts and seats, more big time fights. So,
and you know, I thought this was a women's fight too, but when I seen that the opponent's name is Nathan, I mean,
that's an oversight by me.
Nah, man, yeah. Listen. And I'll probably listen to he's French, okay? So
I don't know. I mean, I messed that one up.
It's okay. Because I was thinking the same thing until I seen Nathan. But okay. Moving right along.
Media failed live in the flesh.
All right, so we got Jack Rafferty retaining his titles by stopping Reese McMillan. All right, those are definitely 2 mid names. He and him.
Right. Say their pronouns.
Jack defended his perfect record. He's got 16 KOs to his name. This is an impressive win because Reese McMillan was 17-2 coming into the fight. So
right,
this looks like one of those bouts where,
let's find out how good you are.
Two contenders. Looks like two contenders.
Yeah.
Man.
Let's see if we can and keep that and keep it moving through the rankings.
And I think we found out which one was the contender and which one was the pretender. But maybe.
Correct. Styles make fights. But 25-0 is 25-0. Got to get in that ring
and the knockout ratio. There's a clear discrepancy there with Reese having 17 victories, but only 2 coming by way of knockout. So sometimes you can read into that.
Right. Like my fiction on this fights.
Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. I like to point at what's my guy, Junior. Was it Chavez Jr.?
Yeah.
Who went up and had this record of 54-0 before he fought Canelo or something like that.
Yeah, and it was just fluff.
Inflated.
Yeah, just pure fluff.
And I'm like,
that's embarrassing. So yeah. Less of that in boxing. We've hit on that before on this show. Bring back the competitive nature in the sport.
So that was that card. We got some excitement in the main event. Got some excitement in the undercards as well.
That was a full card right there.
But also, listen, those are 2 names that most Americans headlining this. Most Americans probably don't know, but when you look at the stadium, appeared to be sold out, and certainly a great time. Like the atmosphere there, the chanting, it's kind of it's a lot different than here. Like here it back in the day, front row. Dressed to the nines.
And Saturday's best.
I still do it. I don't care what everybody else is doing. I still do it. So anytime you see me at a boxing match, I'm probably gonna be wearing a blazer.
Right.
9 times out of
Saturday best.
I don't care.
I that's one of the things that I love about boxing. I'm going to local events, big events, and people really show out. Now that part of the environment is cool on the American side, but like you're talking about with these fights across the pond, it's like that it's electric.
That part.
It's electric, and it's something that I would love to experience one day because I've seen the big fights here in America, and there's a buzz. Definitely is a buzz, but there seems to be a certain electricity that I have not seen.
There's an air of camaraderie and just appreciation for the sport.
Yeah.
And the appreciation for the 2 gladiators that step in there for their entertainment.
Mm-hmm. That Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor seemed to mimic some of that, but then you have Katie Taylor being from Ireland, if I'm not mistaken, and then Serrano having a big Puerto Rican base, and I'm being out of in New York obviously has a lot of Puerto Ricans locally. I think that may have fueled that, but that was to me one of the fights I watched live and felt electricity through the screen, like you're talking about with these fights in the UK, which seemed to happen on the regular. I remember Ben Whitaker coming out a few months ago, and it was just bananas, just getting into the ring. So love to see the passion, man. And that's why we try to take a moment to recap the fights that go on over there, man.
Yeah. And so even when I go to an establishment on a Saturday morning to catch these fights, I'll see somebody from across the pond drinking their tea, and I'm like, clearly I got a tall boy and you got a cup of tea. So
right. One of us is doing it right.
So moving right along, we're going on into the world of mixed martial arts. This is a card that I got to enjoy. This was a rematch. Dricus du Plessis retained his middleweight title by defeating Sean Strickland via unanimous decision. Cam, I know you've been trying.
Man, it's the people, and if I would tune in, it would be to root against Sean Strickland.
Ooh, so, well, if that was the case,
hate watching.
If that's the case, he was thoroughly dismantled. Dricus did a great job of keeping it unpredictable, kind of a irky jerky style.
He used more of his stand-up game, the boxing and stuff.
Very much so. It was just Dricus provided a puzzle that Strickland could not solve. What I will say though is Strickland is tough as nails.
Give him that.
He definitely got his nose broken in this fight and attempted to reset it during the immediately after, but he a
wild boy doing that.
Du Plessis simply just had too much ammunition, too much firepower. Strickland didn't have enough to process it, and he didn't have enough processing speed. Just put it like that. Not enough bandwidth to take. So, shout out to Du Plessis. Zhang Wei Li successfully defended her strawweight title against Tatiana Suarez. This was another competitive fight. Wei Li is maybe short in stature, but she's a giant in the sport, especially in her weight class. Semi-competitive. Tatiana Suarez was game, but just didn't have enough for Zhang Wei Li. So shout out to the women on the co-main here.
29 MMA fights is like 100 boxing matches.
Man,
that's a lot.
Putting in that work
on the women's side, like for sure.
Yeah, like how do you find that many opponents?
yeah. No, that's respect all the way through.
So shout out to you guys. And then we'll run through some of these. Taliesin Teixeira defeated Justin Tafa via first round TKO. So that was an impressive debut victory in the UFC. Shout out to you.
Somewhere Sharp is saying it's not that hard, right, LT? It's not that easy, right?
Let's go. Moving right along. Jimmy Crute and Rodolfo Bellato ended in a majority draw after a 3-rounder. So you don't see that very much often, especially in UFC. Majority draw.
Yeah, is that one of those that everybody agree with? I mean,
well,
as far as the fans go, apparently one judge had it one
correct
side coming out.
That's an interesting concept in and of itself, though. Like, what if, two judges agree that this is the outcome, but what if, like, that guy was the deciding factor? Like, oh, let's go to the guy that didn't see it as a draw.
Right. All right. And it's like, okay, you win that bout. I mean, getting the 2 out of 3. Hey, at some point we'll get the AI judging in there until we find out it's all rigged.
And then, judging UFC is interesting in and of itself when it comes down to all the factors that you have in there. A controlled aggression, striking, ride time. It's, I guess that's why it's called mixed martial arts. Moving right along. Jake Matthews secured a unanimous decision over Francisco Prado. So this looks like another one of those gatekeepers coming out on top over a young contender. Jake Matthews with the record of 20-6, beating Francisco Prado, who was 11-2. So
What do you think is going on there? Is it the prospect wasn't as ready as he thought, or are our older fighters becoming more wise and savvy as they gain more experience?
Man, yes. Again, you know, you have these gatekeepers for a reason. They hit their ceilings, okay, and they just, you know, somebody says, okay, you know, you're not quite a champion, but you have a spot in a place in this sport, and these contenders and these prospects got to come through you.
Right.
And so this is a step up in work, and well, that step up, sometimes fighters aren't ready to make that next step.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what it is. It's a test. But we love to see, yeah, we appreciate our vets in the mixed martial arts. It ain't
Gotta
easy.
have it.
It ain't
Gotta
easy.
have it.
All right, so now some projections. Also premiering this Friday.
Yo, you gotta might have to plug it one more time. What you got? What's also coming this Friday?
So we dropping our second movie premiere. We're not dropping, but we're debuting our second movie premiere. It's called Snooze. Right now, the trailer is up on Drew Vision Cinema, but this will be one of the final events held at the Wichita Orpheum Theater, which is the last Orpheum Theater in the United States that has not been renovated. And so they are scheduled to go under renovation about sometime midsummer. I want to say June. So we've been able to premiere 2 movies in that building, and it's the last one that hasn't been renovated. So it's very historic. And yeah, so.
And also dropping on the 14th.
Also dropping on the 14th, the Valentine's Day Massacre. Denny Bierenchek versus Keyshawn Davis. You want to go into some of the juicy details?
Well, yeah. Strap put in the chat. I had just saw the press conference where Keyshawn claimed that Bierenchek's camp delivered watermelons and bananas to his hotel room, and the Bierenchek campus claimed that it was not them. Keyshawn is convinced it's them. I think regardless, the effect is there. The fight has a different tenor to it after that. You know, once you start throwing these racially charged gestures towards someone like Keyshawn, who doesn't need much motivation to, you know, turn on that thing that he has in the ring. So I'm afraid if he did or not, somebody did it, and Keyshawn looking like he's going to make someone pay for that. So it looks like it'll be Bierenchek tomorrow night. On Friday night. It's not a walkover opponent. This is for a belt. I do believe for the WBA.
WBO World Lightweight. And so Bierenchek is 19-0. Looking at his box record right now, he's got Emmanuel Navarrete, victory over Emmanuel Navarrete.
Okay.
That was for the vacant title. He's got Anthony Yiggett to his name. Before that, he's fought Yvonne Mendy, Issa Chaneev. So he's got a couple names on under his belt.
Yeah, and we saw Navarrete have a solid performance against Oscar Valdez. Not so long, you know, kind of use that size on him. But we you know, so these are elite opponents he has faced here recently. So this isn't just going to be a walk in the park for Mr. Keyshawn Davis, who I know on the show we love. But I really feel like he's on a different type of mission, and I'm really believing what he's putting out. So he's got another opportunity, and let's see what happens. But as far as the watermelon and bananas being delivered to the room, somebody's got to pay for it. You know, it may not have been Mr. Baranchek's people in his camp, but hey, the energy will be put forth into like they might as well have done it.
I'm curious to see if there's anything else on this card, like a Dula Mason or somebody like that.
So if you're for those watching, if you use BoxRec, which is like that thing where you got all the fights, you can go hit that event that they got going on. Looks like on this we have a Xander Zayas, which has Slava Spalmer, Jared Anderson, Mr. Anderson. There we go. That's how we like to check the event tab on BoxRec. Mr. Anderson is fighting.
Here we go.
A Mario Koliak. See, I'm strapped. He's here in spirit. Kolias, in the heavyweight division, fighting the Greek fighter.
Whoa, there's a lot on here. All right, so we got Nico Ali Walsh taking on Juan Carlos Guerrero Jr. That's Nico Ali Walsh is the grandson of Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
That's a 6-round fight. I'm very impressed by this kid. Very impressed. Not just because we have a rooting interest, but he's been impressive. Abdullah Mason is on the card.
Oh, wow. He sure is.
He's fighting Manuel Jaimes. So,
and how many rounds of this fight? This is
Mason is 16-0. Jaimes is 16-2-1, 11 wins coming by way of knockout. So
this will be an 8-round fight. Very, very interesting card. I will say that. Very interesting card. You got I won't say the co-main event. Xander Zayas versus Slava Spalmer. That's a 8 versus 9 matchup in the super welterweight division. So some ranking shuffling going to go on here.
Right.
Puerto Rican versus very interesting card right here versus the German. So on that co-main event right there. Okay, we got a good, interesting fight card going on this weekend. Very nice seeing Mr. Anderson back in the ring after that knockout, Mr. Pacole.
So this is how you build a card. Got a lot of prospects on there. Shout out to Top Rank in their roster. Hey,
good job.
I think the best thing that could have happened for Top Rank was Mr. Turkey buying Ring Magazine. So now you have an avenue where you can do business with Turkey and still fight stateside, and it's a win-win for boxing.
Right, loving it, loving all the moves being made.
Because I was starting to feel like, is Top Rank gonna get left out of all this?
Right. But shout out to the connections being made, Turkey bringing it full circle, making sure that we're not missing anything as far as these promotion companies, as far as that concern. Look, very interesting card. This will be a good card to catch early.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good. Very good job.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm gonna have to play catch up on that one. So,
yeah, birthday weekend. We already know premiere weekend.
I'll be having dinner and a movie. So, is what it is, though. Big time. Great segue since we're talking about Turkey and Ring Magazine and things of that nature. Next topic for discussion: Canelo Alvarez signing a 4-fight deal.
That's what I'm talking about. Get in there.
And so I believe that 2 are to be stateside and 2 in Saudi Arabia. Does that sound right?
I believe it does. We can confirm that because I would like to know how much money did Turkey throw at Canelo to get him to ink the deal, which he seemed to be very reluctant to at the time. What was a triggering moment to make this deal happen? Did he agree to not sign him up with David Benavidez, or is this the last fight with David Benavidez? Don't know.
Mm-hmm. But what we do know is 2 fights are scheduled for 2025 and 2 fights are scheduled for 2026. I believe in 2026 they're going to break the tradition of Cinco de Mayo and Mexican Independence Day because they're going to be uh, in Saudi Arabia anyway. Now, uh, we knew that Canelo wanted to fight Crawford in September, and there was a lot of jockeying for position and a lot of leaked stories and things of that nature. And so at one point over the course of this past week, we thought that the Crawford fight was going to be canceled because Jake Paul was thrown into the equation and he was going to fight Jake Paul and May. And even Eddie Hearn was talking about the Jake Paul fight potentially.
Yes.
Talk about the emotional roller coaster that we were going on as boxing purists and nerds.
Right, exactly. Boxing nerds were like, I'm so glad that we went this route versus the Jake Paul route. Like, just some things you just have to ignore. If you ignore it, it'll probably go away. It's one of those things, making a lot of money, doing a lot of stuff, but we want to see Canelo in the big fights. He still got some juice in the tank, He's had a long career. He's taking some battles, and we want to see him fight interesting, big fights towards the end of his career. Win or loss, the respect will always be there, but I think, these guys know loss hurts their brand, hurts their earning potential. But as fight fans, we want to see the fight. So hopefully within this 4-fight deal, we see some monumental events coming up, which Turkey has proven to do that. So let's keep moving, keep it going.
Now we have to mention though that at one point that Turkey said the deal is off because he thought that Canelo had signed this fight with Jake Paul.
Right. They had us going. What? How many days? So this is we're recording. What is this? We're like what? Wednesday.
This is Wednesday.
And so as of last week, we were getting the runaround.
And then also, okay, so then Canelo comes out, momentarily later, and they said they got on the phone and within 5 minutes they agreed to this deal. And then Canelo comes out, puts out a video and says, "Hey, don't believe anything from that effing YouTuber," or something like that. Did you see that?
Nah, I didn't even see that. Canelo is very funny, by the way. He's extremely funny. I give him
if you miss that, then you also miss Jake Paul's rebuttal to that. Because Jake Paul went smooth off and said he basically put up a picture of the contract with Canelo's signature.
Oh wow!
That they agreed allegedly,
right?
And then he went on. Then he went on this rant about how Canelo sold his people out, but instead of having the fights in Mexico, they're going to be in Saudi Arabia.
Is it selling his people out though?
Well, basically, Canelo was on this thing where he's doing, love of the sport, Turkey's love of the sport, and Jake Paul took offense to him calling him a YouTuber and not a boxer. And he's saying, Jake Paul's reaction is, you would have did it and took the money and fought this YouTuber if you didn't sell out. That was the rebuttal. So gets a little he said, she said there. That is boxing gossip for you.
Right.
What in turn happens is, and this kind of what we've seen coming all along, the negotiations with William Skull for the Cinco de Mayo weekend in order to unify again once more, and then creates bigger headlines for September when he actually fights Terrence Crawford.
Hey, let Terrence Crawford get that retirement payday with the dub.
Have you seen any William Skull?
I have not seen William Skull, but I will definitely get more familiar, get closer to the fight. But
listen, I try to here on Who's Fighting, we try to hold our takes in until just about the week before the fight or the week of the fight. I'm going to go out on a limb right now and say that Canelo Alvarez snaps his streak of fights going the distance and secures a knockout victory in this fight.
This is to shake it up a little bit. Reel me back in. Oh, Canelo is great. You saw that last knockout. Yeah.
Against the belt holder, against the title. They're going to say against the champion.
Right. Yeah, you can say that.
Even though we know that lineally the IBF title was stripped from Canelo for not fighting their number one contender, and
so it's you never was really the champ. I'm just coming to get my strap back.
Yeah, so we could go on about the other two fights and project way into next year, but I think we got plenty of time to do that. I don't know.
Absolutely.
They're throwing around Bivol rematch, and then finally fighting Benavidez if he beats Beterbiev or whatnot and stuff like that. But that's projecting too far out for me. So,
right, knowing his boxing pro, man, mess around beat Jake Paul for the fourth fight. You just never know.
Man. But what we can project to is September. But right now, what do we make of this?
Terrence Crawford story. Yeah, weighing 186. I was surprised. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, damn, I didn't. He carries his weight well, and you always hear about how physically strong he is, and it's it translates to some muscle because 186 is for someone that doesn't seem to have issue making 154. Did not seem like it. From what we've been hearing, yeah, weighing 186. I mean, yeah, it's pretty impressive. I'm assuming he's showing that scale because of people criticizing his size and saying that Canelo will be too big for him. I'm not sure what Canelo walks around at. Some people have speculated around 200. But Terrence Crawford can fight. So him showing that he's not lighting the britches, I was like, okay. I've always wondered, okay, what is that man walking around at? Oh, it's about 186. Looks like after training. Was it after training?
I mean, he had a sweat going.
Yeah, so it's showing that there's some power that can translate because of the skill is on point.
The man only had one fight at 154
so far. So you're gonna go all the way up to he's got another fight at one. Was he not taking the fight before?
I think the contract, and that was a deal. I think the contract stated that Terrence Crawford was not going to take a fight, and Canelo would take a fight.
Right.
But so much has changed that
we'll have to report on it as the information comes. Sounds like he's loading up so that way he can his cut to 168 could be something that allows him to carry his strength and power. So he may be trying to get up in weight to about 190 during training. So he can cut down to 168 to make his weight. So he's with the snack team.
Okay,
see that's about what that. I don't think he needs them, but hey, that's who he's partnered with.
Is this a recent development or?
He's been with them for a few fights.
Okay.
If not more. So that's what it looks like to me when I saw that. I'm like, he's probably trying to bulk up 190, 192, 193, cut down on 168, rehydrate where it's comfortable. It should probably be about where he is right here, 186 to 190.
Man, you watch some of his training videos or something like why is this guy in the local YMCA?
Yo, he actually was just out here in Dallas visiting Dallas's first female world champion, Shredder Metcalf, aka chicken. So
dope.
He's a man of the people. He's a true champ, and true champions, they can walk, head held up, not prideful or boastful, but just with all the humility in the world, touch it, and then letting the people touch him, and he's able to walk into these places and have all the respect. So you see him in weird places and people's living rooms, wrestling and YMCA's, and visiting gyms around. And one thing about him, when he went to the UK, I don't know if it was for a fight. This might have been last year, but he has a huge following in the UK. They very much appreciate someone like Terrence Crawford. So him moving around is something that a true champion should do. You connect with the people, connect with the boxing world. So I love following him on social media, seeing the training, seeing him mixing and mingling, and it's all good, man. The sparring with Andre Ward a while back, that's what it's all about right there.
This is dope. Yeah. Man, we talked about you just reminded me of something, because we talked about Abdullah Mason. We touched on him earlier. I want to say I seen him in the same gym as Shakur.
Mm-hmm.
And this is posted recently on YouTube, and I was super excited because in that video there's appearance by Ronald Sims, who's a former middleweight world champion. But I had the pleasure of talking to this guy many times on Clubhouse. It's a platform that was popping during COVID, and a little bit before that. But being able to be in such close contact with certain people that are higher up in the sport, and
Mm-hmm.
so much wisdom and experience, and just their takes on certain things. That was a pleasure. Great time in history.
I love when fighters get into the gyms and you start, having a banter and sharing game and knowledge. Like, that's really how we grow the sport. I love to see that, because when you realize a lot of the fighters are just cool people, man. Cool people.
Dope. All right. So what's next on the ledger? Man, we got 2025 is going to throw y'all some crazy things. We just put that out there like that.
I mean, already.
Was this on your bingo card?
Hell no. And let me tell you, one of my favorite movies is The Rock with Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage. It's just a well done 90s action movie. It's got all the things. And it was filmed on Alcatraz. And the fact that they're having a fight on this island is ridiculously cool. And if you're any type of nerd or fan of history and all that, it's just, we geeking out right now. And who's putting the fight on?
This was announced via Ring Magazine. So let's see.
I would just like to know, because fighting in Alcatraz lets me know that there are some minds in these rooms thinking of places they can have cool events at, and Alcatraz came up and it stuck. So there has to be other places. You didn't just come up with Alcatraz and say, "Oh, that's it. That we're done here." So it makes me wonder, where are the other fights going to be that are?
Well, let's just put it like this, okay? First of all, Alcatraz is an island. It's off the coast of San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we know that Teofimo is a top-ranked fighter. Mm-hmm. So we know that they have a relationship with Carson, California, in that area out there. Questions are: is this going to be like a VIP only type of event? Are you going to take a ferry to get to the island?
Right.
What are the hoops that you got to jump through?
The ticket for a fight like that, and then the crowd size. Like, what does a venue on a place like Alcatraz look like? Which I feel like is used as a museum throughout the year.
Was Teofimo's fight against damn, we forget our Ukrainian brother? Was that during COVID?
Oh, that's a good question.
You know who I'm talking about?
Lomachenko.
Lomachenko, Vasily
Yeah.
Lomachenko. But I'm sure Teofimo had a fight during COVID, and it was like pumped in crowd noise, virtual audience, and that's what
Yeah.
that's the comparison I'm trying to make. Is this going to be one of those venues where it's like you can hear the person in the last row screaming?
Right. Yes, that was. It was October 17th. So yes, it was.
Mm.
So venue size, the logistics of getting there, is this pay-per-view? This is something that I really love. The creativity creates more intrigue to the bout. And I'm just wondering what other venues are they thinking, because this came out of left field. I don't know. Have we experienced a fight in a place like this?
So this begged the question: what other venues would we like to see boxing held at? Kim, you had a place in mind?
One, I was thinking just in Times Square. It's just with all it's like a video game, Tekken or something. And you put the stands in the middle of Times Square, and then you have the replays on the screens and stuff like that. And the size could be I wonder what the type of crowd size you would have for an event like that. But
That is very interesting.
but I'm just saying it's these fantasy type of things, and I'm sure it'd be a logistical nightmare to
Well,
to host a fight there.
I mean, how so? I mean, you have the ball drop on New Year's Eve.
Very true. Very true.
So, I mean, I guess the only thing, if you have it there, then Mariah Carey has to sing the national anthem.
Right. Hey, and now you see, what is this? Timestamp this, because we got to make sure people ain't like
We're
jocking.
giving the game. We're giving the game.
Nah,
Now look,
that's good though.
the fight capital of the world, they have like a cup chase event there or something where they have like racing in the street in Vegas.
Oh
So
yeah. So
that's
there's proof of concept, is what you're saying.
there's proof of concept. Now this on a smaller scale, there was a fight card some years back. I want to say maybe 2022. I think Jogba fought light heavyweight in Tulsa, Oklahoma against anyway, I think it did that happen like in a town square.
Oh, okay.
Not so much Times Square, but
so we've got examples. There was a fight in Dallas last year that was inside of an old airport hangar.
Ooh.
And I feel like they use it. It was outside of Love Field, and I feel like that place is used as a museum year round and event center. So that seemed to be pretty cool. So but yeah, I'm digging the alternative venues, give just a whole different experience and intrigue to the fight.
Very nice, very nice. So we'll keep it pushing. Kim, this is a topic that you brought to my attention.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the Sportico article came out recently with the 100 athletes that grossed the most in 2024. Several athletes all across different sports. I mean, we are boxing fans, so we had 6 guys on the list. But just to do a quick rundown of the overall list, some notable names on the list before I get to our fighters. We had Cristiano Ronaldo, who brought in 215 in 2024. This is outrageous. Number 2, Steph Curry at 53.8. John Rahm, the golfer, at 85.8. Dak Prescott, 86.4. Shohei Ohtani at 21 at 70 million, 70 million. And we had a tennis star, Jannik Sinner, rounding up that list at 43. But here in our boxers, number 3 was a Tyson Fury at $147 million. You had Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul, Naoya Inoue all on that list. Just letting these guys know, hey, you can collect a big bag in the sport of boxing. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot about Usyk at 122 and Canelo at 73. Are we surprised at these numbers? Anybody we're surprised on this list?
Well, you said you were surprised about somebody on here.
Anyway, I was surprised Anyway was on this list. You know, we've talked about him several times on the show. I don't think we've ever talked about the purses that he's bringing in. Fighting exclusively in Japan. I was ignorant to the fact that he was making a bag like that. I'm sorry, brother. I was not familiar with your game.
Making it from the crib.
No, for real. Hey, out of everybody on this list, I feel like that is the most quiet 42 million.
And so ever. I don't know if I was thinking this, and I don't know if I brought it up, you know, for the sake of time, but we were like, I think it was Strap talking about all the distractions and stuff that come with fighting at home, right? And then, but like in my head, I was like, you know, this guy's fighting in his home country. Doesn't mean he's fighting in his hometown all the time. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. He can kind of insulate himself a little bit if he fight across the way.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody. Like, and that's, and it's very much possible. Like, if this guy's a national treasure, you know, he's got their version of the Secret Service, whatever that may be. And I'm sure that all distractions are blocked out and the necessary things are taken care of. And
he does not fight distracted.
But it's very also focused. I always talk about cultural differences. And there's probably a better degree of respect for his professionalism. This is his profession, right? This is how he makes his living. And as it relates to professionalism, like I feel like there's probably a different degree of reverence there, where you probably don't have a lot of Japanese people looking for the homie hookup.
Yeah. That's something other people be doing.
You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna speak on them, but I big facts there. You know, the thing though, seeing Tyson Fury and Usyk on this list lets you know that the heavyweight division still is the division where you're going to make the most bang for your buck. You got 3 heavyweights on this list: Anthony Joshua, Usyk, and Tyson Fury, being the number 3 earner in 2024. So that's big time.
Are we surprised that they rank ahead of Canelo? I think that might be more of the surprise, is that.
Right. Yes. Actually, it is. But then the heavyweight division just is such a division. It almost becomes a different sport. At that point, we know Canelo has been earning big time for several years. So I know maybe over the last decade, he's probably earned more than the guys on this list. But I was a little bit surprised to see our 2 heavyweights on top of the boxing earnings.
Now, Jake Paul. Is this just for 2025, right?
This is 2020. Yeah, previous year. This is for 2024.
Just for 2024. So, but anyway, we always point at that activity too. Just imagine what he could do if he was from China.
Yeah, he doing with some volume.
All right, so I think we're running into a good time right here. Usyk ranks, you know, as one of the top earners behind Tyson Fury in boxing. So we'll segue into that because it's being announced that Usyk has 2 fights to retire. So we were previous episode we talked about him going down. He wants to campaign at both heavyweight and cruiserweight. And so you were looking at these opponents here, Jai Opetaia and Gilberto Ramirez, right? All four of the belts belong to these two fighters. Okay. Now, somebody that we forgot at the top was the IBF heavyweight champion. Is not included in potential opponents here. You remember who that is? Jumped in the ring and challenged him after the fight.
I'm drawing. Oh, Daniel Dubois.
Daniel Dubois. We forgot about Daniel Dubois. So,
I got a scenario.
I mapped this. Yeah, we mapped this out. So now he's at heavyweight now. He grants the rematch, unifies at heavyweight. This then allows time for Opetaia and Ramirez to unify, and one of them become undisputed. And then for one final fight in his career, Usyk goes back down to cruiserweight, fights for undisputed, and could potentially hold all 8 belts at the same time.
Ooh, he's trying to be a legend.
And I didn't map that out until I was saying it out loud, and I was like, technically, he's not undisputed at heavyweight right now because of the IBF.
They throw it in there, but Usyk did it willingly. He graciously gave that belt up to give a big opportunity to a fellow heavyweight. So he did it as almost an ambassador of the sport because it creates another dream scenario towards the end of his career. So I do like it. 2 more fights. That looks like potentially maybe fighting once this year, once next year. But the type of track he was on. Not really concerned with ring rust with him. Shown the technical superiority in his recent fights. The cruiserweight matchup, both matchups actually I find ways that he could experience some difficulties. Ultimately, I feel like he could come out on top of any scenario right now. But Daniel Dubois, he did land that body shot that it did hurt. It did hurt him, but it did seem like Usyk made a point to toughen that part of his body in the fights after that, because he's been hurting his career to the body before. I think Fury tried it; it didn't really work. The speed going down to the cruiserweight division, that could be very interesting to end his career. But Usyk making some strong headlines to end his career. That's super exciting to see something like that on the
and
bill.
So now that I vocalize all of that, and we talk about these projections in the cruiserweight division, and then we talk about our projections with Canelo, there's one person that gets left out across 3 weight classes.
Say his name.
David Benavidez.
He's gonna be at that cruiserweight division at some point, huh?
In no scenario, David Benavidez is being left out of all 3 of these scenarios. 168, he can't fight Canelo at 168. Canelo won't fight him. 175, Canelo's potentially looking to fight the winner of Bivol and Beterbiev. Benavidez plan B was, and again, Benavidez is the number 1 contender at 175 right now. And his plan B is to go up and fight Zurdo, Gilberto Ramirez Sanchez. And here we have another scenario where the Mexican monster is left on the outside looking in, potentially.
they're not gonna be able to avoid him forever, and I think it just makes him more angry, and he's gonna speak his speech, and he's gonna let him know straight up how he feels about it. But you will not be able to ignore David Benavidez too much longer.
Yeah.
That's a good point, though. Great. I think that's a good little angle to keep an eye on right there.
Man. So, do we miss anything? What do we got coming up, man? I think that's a great spot to land this plane.
I'm sure we missed something.
Of course we did.
I'm sure we did. But hey, we got a great card of the year so far coming up, Riyadh season.
We know we can hold a conversation for an hour now.
You're right. Bam, we did it. All right, bye. Now,
even without you rambling, Strap.
Right.
Hey, yo, Kam Gee.
Yeah.
Who's fighting?
LT. Let's get it.
I don't know how to end it.